Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Welcome to this episode of the Gateway Podcast, broadcasting live from the edge of the Mojave where the strange slips through the cracks. We are live on United Public Radio Network 107.7 FM, and I'm your host this evening, C.L. Thomas. Tonight's guest, I'm really excited about having him on. He's a fellow UPRN talk radio host of Don't Whistle at Night, and we're going to talk about mysterious Hollow Earth. But before we get into that, you've been listening to Into the Night with Sean Kelly. He's also on Sunday nights. It's currently 58 degrees here in the Mojave. I don't know about you all, but I've been trying to work out like crazy. I've been off the road for the last week and a half, and I'm trying to get back into shape. I heard an old athlete years ago say that it's really hard to get it back the older you get, and I always kind of looked at him like he was crazy, and now I totally understand what he was talking about. It's so true. So I've been out of the workout scene for a little over a year now due to an injury and surgery recovery. And what I mean by that is I've been working out, but not like I used to. I used to run competitively, and I used to do triathlons, and my average workout day was about 2 hours. I would run 4 miles at least. That was my medium base. And I would do weights. I would do all kinds of stuff. So now I've been doing like the bare minimum and trying to get back. And oh my goodness, it's been so difficult. So a year ago at this time, I had major shoulder surgery, and they had to go in and they attached all of my tendons back together, and they had to move my bicep from the shoulder on down my arm. And because of that, the recovery has been forever. I'm having to retrain the nerve endings to move my arm up and down. And it's been a long, arduous recovery for this. So now I'm still not able to swim. I'm still not able to do yoga or anything that's weight bearing on this arm, but I am seeing progress. I'm able to actually move it up over my head. I'm able to pick up objects again. I'm able to lift stuff over my shoulder. So it's getting there, just really slow. And paranormal news. So I had to mention this because, a few weeks ago, I had Greg Bakun on he's from Ghostbox Radio, and we talked about the situation and harassment that went down behind the Conjuring house. And I just saw today, there was a news story that came out that the previous owner, Jacqueline Nunez, her family is actually suing Jason Halls over some of this stuff that transpired. So there's a lot going on in the background that didn't quite get out, and that happened with Jason Hall. So stay tuned for that. I have a few interviews that I'm working on to kind of uncover some of that. My guest tonight is Don Yazzie. He's the current host of Don't Whistle at Night. Don is a respected Navajo storyteller and cultural educator and knowledge keeper whose deep understanding of traditional teachings has captivated listeners from across the country. He draws from generations of oral history, and he's going to bring stories really told outside of the community. And tonight we're going to talk about Hollow Earth. So let me get him on here. Don, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the great intro right there. I'm like, whoa. But yes, I'm pleased to meet you here and hang out with you today, this evening, and with everyone else listening today.
I'm so honored to have you on.
Likewise.
So, can you tell us just a little bit? You live around the Four Corners area. And I know we're supposed to talk about Hollow Earth, but I have to ask, can you tell us what your ideas behind Skinwalker is?
That's going to be a good portion of the show. So, FYI. Okay. So, there's multiple stories on the origin, and one of the earliest stories of a Navajo woman shapeshifting would be the trickster coming when the Navajos first settled and emerged out of this world from the last world, which will tie into the Hollow Earth story from the last flood, the last destruction of the last world. We emerged after a few groups. So the Hopi emerged first, and a couple more groups emerged, and we're the last ones to emerge from the Hollow Earth. And that entryway would be the Grand Canyon. And so this is after we emerged from there, and there wasn't much people back then. And this family, they seen a coyote come. He was speaking to them. He was showing them like medicine, being helpful. He was speaking to them, and he married one of the man's daughters. And then they built their hogan and their stuff not too far from the father. And a lot of people are thinking that that alien or that coyote is actually an alien, a shapeshifter. So it might have been a deity, a different kind of fallen angel, possibly. That's what some people are saying. And so as they're down that way, the uh, the sister's brothers, the one that got married to the coyote, her brother snuck closer because he wasn't really trusting that coyote. He didn't like him. So as he was getting closer, he was hearing the coyote whispering to his sister. And I guess the coyote was telling his sister, after me, repeat after me. And he was chanting, and she started chanting, and she changed and transformed into a full on bear. And she charged at her own brother and ripped him apart. And there's another brother that was there, and she was chasing after that one. And she would transform back and forth, and she wouldn't know what she done. And and she just wandered off into the mountains. She never came back. That's one of the earlier stories. And then later on, we had a lot of sickness going on, and a lot of people passing away. And one of the stories goes that the thunder gods were one of the top deities. So every Native American culture, we have the holy thunder beings, the thunder god that gave us. Every tribe has a thunder bundle from this god. Every tribe, he gave them a secret bundle. So every tribe has it somewhere, and one person is in charge to keep it. So I have seen one bundle before, and so there was a lot of Navajos dying back in that day, in the past. So a lot of people were dying. Multiple tribes were dying. So this had to have been around the smallpox, possibly during when the Spanish came in contact with Mexico. So everyone was dying all the way, everybody. And we have this jewelry right here. Usually right here it's cedar beads, and we would have it as a necklace. I use this on my lives. So we'd have these cedar beads right here. They're called ghost beads. And when all those people were dying, we resorted to these cedar berries, and we boiled it and drank it, and that was our answer to smallpox. And to remember that, we call these ghost beads, and we use these for protection at night when we sleep and when we walk around as well. And because on the reservation, we are forced to live with our ghosts, and our kids live with the past ghost trauma passed down. So every one of us on the Navajo Nation and off now different tribes are really, really, really sensitive to spiritual and emotional. both of those two. We're really sensitive to those two, and I think that's why we can see a little bit more, maybe, and feel a little bit more, and things that are out there that are hidden from everyone else reveal themselves to us. So a lot of us think that, a lot of us do believe that, because what's done to us. So, during that time before they discovered the cedar berries was the answer to smallpox, they it was the medicine men that were running around trying to get from point A to point B as fast as they can to give medicine to the people to bring them back to life, but they weren't doing it quick enough, and people were still dying. And so the thunder god came down from the heavens, came down to the medicine man and told them, "Hey, I can help you guys. I know what's going on. Everyone's dying fast. I can help you." So he taught them how to shapeshift to get to from point A to point B quickly. And so after he taught the medicine men that form of shapeshifting and getting into place faster, so they went to and from, and we made a recovery. And different tribes made a recovery. We helped different tribes. Different tribes helped each other out. So that's why all the tribes have a thunder god. And so you have the Pueblos. So the way they honor the thunder god, and the ant people is the those clowns. I can't remember the name of it. Kashari. So those clowns are black and white striped, and then they have those antlers right here. Kind of represents the ant people because they help them out. So, and then the Lakota, they have the Heyoka. That's the clown. So the difference between them two is the Lakota, he wards away storms, and then the Pueblo, the Hopi, and all these Unis, they bring in storms. And sometimes Lakota accidentally brings in the storm. So, and they're one of the highest levels, and so they can shapeshift as well. Those tribes, they can have their own form of magic. And so the Pueblo have the strongest, the Hopis have the strongest form of magic out of everybody in this whole world. So that's another can of worms. so so as the medicine men were going to and from the god of the darkness, the Yei'iitsoh. So translation means the god of the darkness, the dark god, the black god. So he came, he's watching everything what's going on, and he came to certain medicine men offering them that, "Hey, the thunder god gave you this gift, but I can give you more. Do you want more?" And then it's up to that medicine man and his apprentice, because there are always two of them. Skinwalkers always roam in two. The rule of two is true with them. They're never alone. And so so one by one, two by twos, they all accepted. And um and over time, people use good things for bad and bad things for good, and everything gets twisted up and vice versa, and people forget the past, people forget what was done. And like these stories, people forget, you know. Over time we had to combat good and evil. So that's why we always struggle for balance. We're always fighting for balance within us, because like we struggle so much for balance that the Navajo Nation back in the day would have 6 war chiefs and 6 peace chiefs, just to always be at balance. And with Mother Nature, with everything, even into the mind, because magic starts with the mind. If you're scared, if you're weak minded, then you easily can be enslaved into any type of magic. So you always have to keep everything guarded up. And we're not supposed to accept jewelry from other tribes, because we don't know what kind of juju they put into that jewelry to control your life and to see you and to see what you're doing when you're showering, when you're doing whatever. They're watching you, and they can push play, record, zoom in, you name it. They can do everything. They're gifted, supernaturally gifted people.
And that's just from a piece of jewelry that somebody could give to you?
Yeah. Yeah, or they can take a piece of your hair or your clothing, like a little tiny fabric. That's all they need from a piece of you. So, oh yeah, go ahead. You want to say the question? Look like you want to ask another one
So
before I keep going.
the Skinwalker Ranch that's over in Utah, There's been a lot of different research and stories that have come out over the years with that place. In your opinion, what do you think is actually going on? And do you think that's actually because they talk about in one of the shows that this place is a portal to for like alien life or something else? Do you think that that could be an opening into Hollow Earth somehow?
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. But I know what's for sure is the portals open up. These skinwalkers are people with very supernatural powers, gifted, and they can open portals under your home on a land and make that whole land bad. They can curse the entire land, and not just the house, like the land itself would be. Hey, Michelle. Yeah, they can open it, they can close it, and they're the only ones that have the VIP to enter at will and not be harmed. Because if you and I were to go in there, we would come out, we would have a like radioactive, sickness on us, like we went through chemotherapy. So that happens a lot, and especially when you walk up on somebody entering a portal, you're trying to go into there, they would turn around and flash a blue light at you. It'll be a radiation like flare at you, and you would be sick, and your dogs would die. So we're always told to leave them alone. If you see the portal, you stay your butt inside because they'll take you. You're gonna be gone. We call all those people associated with portal, the little people, uh, alele, alele. So that translates Navajo to mystical, magical beings. So you would say gifted beings. So that's what we all label them under alele. So they're the creatures of the night. We made a deal with them. The days for us, the nights for you will stay out of your hair. And I was unaware of that because I ran into Sasquatch, I ran into Goatman, ran into a lot of skinwalkers. I've seen abductions. I've seen a giant mothership. The list goes on and on. All these strange activities in the Southwest. And I found out that the Southwest is number 3 in missing people
Yeah.
and Sasquatch Dogman activities in the country. And we probably could be number 1, but reason why we're not number 1 is because we don't have many people as Northwest and the Great Lakes. They have a lot of people in the Southwest, not much. So that's why it's disproportionate. I would say, because if you and I were to go on the reservation, and you would run across people that seen the portal, that seen this, that everywhere, everyone's seen all kinds of things. But one of our teaching is to not tell anyone. Keep it quiet. Don't tell the white people. Don't tell the black people. You can tell the Mexicans, you can tell that tribe because we're brothers. We can all get together and tell scary stories. And gosh, so it's like that. And I like to think of myself as door, to my world, to my community, and to bring out everyone and say, hey, we see all these creatures that everyone's so fascinated about, everything that's on Disney. We've seen it. We know that's there. We respect them. They respect us. And going back to the skinwalkers, so they traveled everywhere, saving people, and so there came a time. All right, I'll just fast forward to when United States bought the whole West from Mexico, because during that time the Navajo Nation was at war with every single tribe in this country. On the Southwest, we're at war everywhere, and the only ones that we weren't at war with were the White Mountain Apache and San Carlos Apache and the Jicarilla Apache and Muscalera. We split from them because they started working with the government, the United States. So we severed ties right away. We're all family, but so that happened, and we had our own way of fighting back. Like I mentioned earlier, we had 6 war chiefs and 6 peace chiefs, and then we had five departments of war, and the first one was the raiders, because our form of war was a little different. Like we'll take the sheep, cattle, your economy. We'll take that. We'll drive your stock market down, and then Then the other one after that is the warriors. Their job is to be on the reservation, check the women and children, the old people, and if they're alone, you care for them, you cook for them, you lead them to safety, and you go look around. So the warriors' job's to die, so we're actually sacrificing ourselves for the people, and then that's the warriors. Then the third one is the weapons makers. So making the bow, arrow, spear, shield, the war cat. And the fourth one is the hand tremblers, and that's another supernatural gifted group of people. Not many people have that gift, and that gift they have the ability to astral project and see um, where a missing person is, or see where an enemy is coming through their eyes. So he can see, and then he would have a horn toad for protection from witchcraft from different tribes or whoever the enemy is coming. If they have some kind of magic, he would have the horn toad for protection and for the people. And then if we're going on the offense to attack Mexicans or to attack Pueblo or to attack the fort, we would use the Gila monster, and the Gila monster would tell us which way the enemy's coming, or the Gila monster would tell us which way to attack, and the Gila monster would tell us which way to set up a trap and which way the enemy will come. The Gila monster tells us. So I can't really explain to you in detail, but all this is very supernatural and it's very real. That's the real reality, is the supernatural realm. This is fake right now. This reality we're living, talking right now, this is fake. But you know what I mean. So
I
and
do.
and then the last one of that five is the messengers. That's the skinwalkers, messengers. So their job is that gift, you have to earn it. You make a deal for it. The god of darkness, the devil. So so those guys were the messengers. They would go to and from all across Navajo Nation sending messages, because back in that day, it's even in the journal that um, the United States, they would take 3 weeks to 2 weeks to assemble 1,000 soldiers, and the Navajo Nation took them a half a day to assemble 1,000 warriors and get them mobilized and ready to attack anywhere. So that's how fast we would send messages out to everyone. And that gift would be riding a horse, and you would start singing a song. You would start chanting, and that horse, while it's running, the horse would get picked up, and you would get transported quickly. Or you would shapeshift to any animal you would desire: owl, eagle, and you would fly. Or you'd be a coyote, or what have you. You'd be a deer.
Um, I know exactly. Well, you said something earlier about how, what did you say? The daytime was meant for the living and the nighttime was meant
Oh,
for.
yeah, the daytime. We're the children of the day. The sun, we rise with the sun. We're children of the day. We have 5 fingers. And the children of the night, they're the ones that arise at night, that can see at night, such as Sasquatch, Dogman, Goatman, Centaur, Minotaur, Lizard Man. There's a creature that flies around that looks like Jeepers Creepers, sorry. So he's flying around the reservation. He's spotted in Zion National Park, right out my backyard,
Yeah,
and
that's
all the way down to
fascinating
Tucson.
too. I think it's in
Yeah,
US, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. We used to have a government insider friend, but I really hope he's safe. Um, he told us that the government is well aware of all these cryptids. They know about it. And that gargoyle creature I was describing to you, that looks like Jeepers Creepers, everyone's calling it gargoyle. They take people. We have a lot of missing people, and we have people that actually survive being taken. And if you go on my pod, or I have yet to bring on some survivors of the gargoyle, and I have scheduled next year. I'm getting booked already, and I have a lot of people from different. Yeah, so we'll just go back to skinwalkers.
Well, you know what?
So
What you said about it's so true because I do a lot of hiking and stuff like that since I've been in the Southwest, and I haven't been. I don't. This place, as soon as that sun goes down, in some places, such as like around Tacopa area, up around where you just said, up around the Gorge, St. George area is another one. As soon as that sun sets, it's just like a whole different feeling. Like there's this dark, deep, creepy feeling that just overtakes you in a lot of these areas to where you just don't want to be there. It's really eerie.
land, yeah, the if you at the right time, at certain times, you would actually see the past replaying over. You see people walking the same path, dying the same way, getting tortured the same way, eaten the same way. You'd hear the replay real time. That happens a lot all over the Southwest. This whole area is very haunted.
I have
You would
a
see the ghosts.
I have a friend that lives that used to live in Las Vegas up the street from me where I live now. We live in Southern Highlands right up against where the Spanish Trail is, the old Spanish Trail in Spring Mountain. And he said one night he heard the sound of a horse and a woman singing in a Navajo language walking past past his back door and everything, and even his dog was he has a German Shepherd, even his dog was going just completely bonkers over it. So even in Las Vegas you get stuff like this depending on where you're at. Of course, you know, the strip is too noisy, but once you get out kind of where I live, you start to experience a lot more of that sort of thing.
Hmm. Oh yeah, like in one of the weird laws in Phoenix, Arizona, is that it's illegal for a Native American to play cards with a dog in the city of Phoenix. Isn't that weird?
That is weird. Why would that be a law?
Somebody saw something. Somebody saw the Native American playing cards with the Skinwalker. That's what
Yeah, they were playing
the
with
law
a
was.
coyote.
Yeah,
Coyote.
the law was it's illegal for a Native American to play a card game with a dog. That's the one of the strangest laws I looked up in the city of Phoenix. And I was like, wow, somebody must have seen a native playing with the Skinwalker.
That has to be. You're right.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of reports going down there, people seeing the Skinwalker in the canals. They take the canal. So those canals are very, very ancient. They were used from the very first settlers in that valley. They just reuse the same canals.
that's
And they
interesting.
have that La Llorona walking around there too. Every creeks, even on Navajo land, she's crying, walking around the creek with the washes and the rivers. There's a lot of creatures in the rivers, so we're told to leave when the sun goes down. Don't turn around. Don't go back because we have a giant dragon in the water, and he lives in Lake Powell and goes up Green River to northern Utah. And people in Green River, Price, they're calling it an alligator, but we're like, that's no alligator, that's the dragon. And the stories goes back to he came through the doorway in the Grand Canyon when the last world was closing. That portal was closing, and then he's the last one to come out and close. He's that dragon is the guardian of the uh Yei'iitsoh clan. Translation: Bitterwater. Sorry, I had to translate Bitterwater clan. So he's the guardian. So he's the real creature. Everyone sees it. He's a big black serpent. His head is probably 5 feet, and he has big black horns, and he has black scales all over. So we got that creature, and yeah. So going back to the skinwalkers, there's they would have to right now there's a lot of them right now. There's a lot of the activity. They're initiating the younger ones, and sometimes there'll be government officials. They'll be into witchcraft, teaching
Hmm.
the next generation. And so far, my podcast is putting them on blast, which they don't like. So you have to really be aware of your surroundings, especially when you sleep, because the wicked don't sleep. And they would. I have been hexed myself. They cut my hair when I was little. I can go get into the story of that horrible. The possibilities are my experience of that witchcraft.
Wow.
Um, so like I was telling you, like the thunder being, he tossed that, and one of our clan symbols is the lightning. And my family, they they came from witchcraft. They forsake witchcraft and they became, and the other half didn't. So I was always going back and forth from one half to the other half, trying to love everyone equal. And so I was in this little community called Halchita. This is the old houses where the old uranium miners moved out of. And it was a hot summer night. I didn't I didn't close the window. I left the window open. And you're supposed to always close the window. I was 6 years old, and I left the window cracked this much. And my mom got home. I think it was the next day. She was getting after me like, "Why didn't you close the window?" I was standing up, looking at her, and she stopped. Mid sentence. She put her hand on my hair, and it was cut right here. And she was like, "No, someone cut your hair," right at the top. And I just seen her face, just fright. And I realized that I'm gonna be in for one trip. I knew something bad was gonna happen. Like I didn't know what until I fell asleep that night. I As soon as I closed my eyes, I woke up. I was in a cave. I can see my eyes is open, but there's this cave. There's fire and there's things on the wall. There's symbols. There's all kinds of things. And there's this lady that was holding me, and I realized that out of my hair, my extension of my hair, I could see. I don't know how to explain that to you. Where my hair was tied up in like some kind of yarn, like a patch. They had to hit my hair, and that lady, she was chanting. She was chanting death chants and saying that I'm never gonna make footsteps in this world on this Mother Earth again. My whole family are gonna perish. All these horrible things, and she's chanting and she's laughing, and I can't see her face because her hair is in her face, and all I could see was pepper, white and black, and she's cursing me and she's spinning me in circles, and I would wake up in my bed, and I'll be on my stomach and I'll be spinning, like not really spinning, but like internally spinning, like I was spinning, like the room was spinning, I was spinning, but everyone was trying to tell me to calm down, and I was gripping the bed, and the only way I would stop get the spins would they would have to walk out the room, and then when they would get closer to me, I would get more dizzier and more dizzier. This went on for a few weeks, and finally calmed down enough where I finally slept, and they would. My grandma, she placed me into her room, and she laid down where I laid down, and like she felt her hair, someone touching her hair, and she got up and ran to the light. She turned on the light. She turned around. It was a medicine man's grandson on the roof corner of the roof, like Spider Man, just straight up on the roof. And she grabbed the broom and chased them off the corner of the ceiling. He was in the ceiling. My bad. He was in the corner of the ceiling like Spider Man.
Why
She,
were you
you know,
targeted?
because all the way back to my family. My family. It just I have stories. It just we my my uncle he was a short-tempered man, and he did a lot of bad things, or he did a lot of things that made a lot of people angry and made him a target, made us a target, including my grandfather. he stole a medicine man's pouch, a skinwalker's pouch, and he emptied it out, and he became a marked man because he stole the pouch. In that pouch, he found all their tools, uh, like two teeth and different bones, where they grind their bones together and make powder to freeze you. They would come across you, they'd run at you, blow it at you, and you freeze. And they would take a piece of your hair, or that powder can be poison. And you'll die not later on. They can do all kinds of things. They have knowledge of making different poisons to make you go to sleep, to freeze you, sleep paralysis.
Wow.
You name it. Magic. Their magic is bad. They call it bad medicine. I seen good medicine, and I seen bad medicine.
So all of these creatures that you guys see at nighttime, now for those listening, at the Southwest, there's not very many places to hide, realistically. Like we do have little caves, we have, but we don't have like the vegetation that the rest of the country has, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We don't have trees and all of that sort of thing. So you can see for miles and miles. The hollow earth theory,
Very
is
bad.
that where all of these people hide? All of these creatures, is
No.
that where they go?
No, no. We have mountains across the Southwest. The Mojave, Vegas is in a very lower plateau, and
Mm-hmm.
us in the Southwest, we're on the Colorado plateau, so we're higher, and we have more drain systems. We have canyons, we have valleys, we have caves, we have tunnels that crisscross underneath us, and our average elevation is 6,000 feet. And there's a lot of things that go deeper, way deeper than the Navajo Rangers know it. They have pictures Navajo Rangers put up of them diving into the earth, and all these people's faces dread because these caverns are so huge where you can fit Jerry Jones, six of Jerry Jones Stadium in Dallas, Texas. These are huge, and then they're whole too. And they different entrances have their own guardians, and every sacred mountain we have at least six, maybe 6 to 7 sacred mountains, and all these different cryptids. But one cryptid makes its journey from mountain to mountain all night and stops in the daytime. That one's a Centaur. And the Centaur, they have they have their own family. They have their own family groups. They travel together. They run all night, and then they stop at mountain. They sleep in that mountain. They run again. And sometimes some of these mountains, not all mountains, certain mountains have a tunnel. And when you go into that tunnel, it goes deeper. And then certain mountain would have guardians, and that guardian would be Sasquatch, Dogman. There's 23 different types of Sasquatches. They all look different from each other. They all don't look alike. And there's also a bigger one too, and not many people know about that one.
Hmm.
There's also the giant too that takes that hollow earth that lives in there. And that giant, what I was telling you, we have five. We're brothers, we're sisters. We have 5 digits. Those giants have another one. And I don't know if you've seen pictographs in Las Vegas, the 6 fingers.
I have
But
seen
those,
that, yes. Mm-hmm. I have seen
those
that.
guys were from the result of the fallen angels coming down. We have our own story of that too. It goes back to this is before the flood. This is what caused the flood in our stories. So it's a long time ago. They said it could have been the Colorado River. So some stories say it is the Colorado before the flood. So the Navajo men and the Navajo women got a huge disagreement, and one went on the other side of the river. The woman stayed there, and time flew, and they said the holy people, the star people, were watching, and they came down. They came down to the women. They came down to the men, and they both procreated giants, horrible looking human beings with 6 digits, cannibalistic, and they're warlike, automatically violent, and they had that 6 finger, which made them which gave them the ability to do greater magic, do stronger magic. To because us we have 10. We are limited to so much magic that we can do. Then those guys with the 6-1, it's like cheating. So that was automatically kill them. And when that was going on, we started having a war with the 6-fingered people. And then that's what caused the flood. Water started rising. Portal opened up and we escaped through the portal. And some of them did survive through the hollow earth caverns. And some Navajos went through the portal and some went deep into the earth, the Grand Canyon with the other tribes. The ant people helped them. The ETs helped us. So that's the same people, the ET, the ant people, the alien. They are the one and the same beings.
Who are the ant people?
The aliens?
The ant people.
The aliens.
Oh, okay.
They live deep under earth. They're hollow earth. They're the ones that live under earth too. If you do black magic, they're the ones that will come in contact with you. And they'll drag you into the earth. So, there's like a lot of do's and don'ts, a lot of things that we know, things that we don't share, but we're all sharing these days. And I like to share just to clear the room and, just to say, hey, this is what's going on. Everyone's running away with that. Everyone's running away with this. This is what's going on. kind of in a way, but.
Well, to your story, there is a cave, and I forget where it is. It's in northern Nevada, and somebody found giant skeletons in a cave up there.
Lovelock Caves?
What is it?
Lovelock Caves?
It is, yes. Yep.
Yeah, the redhead giants.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that one is more recently, and some tribes went to war with them, and the survivors of that tribe came and married within our tribe, and we have a clan called Yei'iitsoh, and that translates to the giant people, and those people are gifted supernaturally. So a lot of those people that under that clan, they're medicine men and women automatically, because it's passed down lineage wise. And me, like lineage wise that I got is 4C. I can see, but I don't want to practice it because I already seen enough, and I don't want to see anymore. But it comes when I don't want to. Sometimes it's a message from someone that passed away, or I would see Jesus, and I would see my loved ones, and I would get a message, and I would see the future, what's going to happen to my family, to my in-laws, and it's just a very mysterious world to be a part of and to be even existing at this time. And all I know is that we're all here to talk about this and try to put this puzzle together, this mystery of this universe. And all I know is that there is a God, and he's God of mystery, and he's one that shows everything. Shows us. He can show us the future. He can show us this and show us that if he wants, and even show you what when you're being attacked by the Skinwalkers, because the battle always is in the supernatural realm. Because they would get a piece of your clothing, they wish ill will onto you at their cave, and some of those bad people, the Skinwalkers, they don't have to jump in the skin, because they would put a skin on the ground, and there'd be multiple Skinwalkers around, and they would sing. And a man would get ready to run, and when he runs, he rolls into that skin. He comes into a buck, a coyote, dog, wherever skin's on the ground, and you have to believe. And if you're not a skinwalker and you're watching and they're doing it, they're rolling on that pelt, nothing. They know someone's watching. They go look for you. And then like that portal, there's a rock, there'd be a wall, there's a rock, and they would sing, they would go through the rock into a hard sandstone. And that'd be a portal. They would be able to open it. And then there's another skinwalker where he doesn't have to jump into skin. He can just sit at home with his family watching TV while he's looking at you, giving you headaches, messing around your home, throwing stuff off the wall, making it look like a poltergeist. He's messing with you, destroying stuff in your house real time while he's at home. That's the astral. They can astral project, watch over you, collect information, and that's the one of the gifts that I have is the astral travel. And I don't recommend it because you're not gonna like what you see over there. It's pretty, but I like flying around. I just love flying. I love flying around. But you fly around too much, there's a girl that'll chase you. But so that's two different skinwalkers, witchcraft.
What is your stories are all oral traditions, right? They're passed down all orally. Is there any stories in relation to Superstition Mountain that you know of?
Oh, that would be our Apache brothers and sisters. That they would have stories of that mountain from. They would say the giants used to live in that mountain once upon a time. Possible Hollow Earth entrance there as well, sacred. And there's a story of the flood that there was those huge giants. That was the last place in the Superstition Mountains where they got wiped out. That's from their stories, and also how the giants came to be was through Mount Graham. The star people came down and landed on top of Mount Graham, where the Vatican has the Lucifer Eye right now. So that's how they made their form of giants, because the angels came down, the ETs came down, not once, multiple times. And we have that. And when they came down on San Francisco peaks outside of Flagstaff, they came down. We and the Hopi were running up to that mountain really fast. They made it up and we made it up. And what they gave was they made a deal with their daughters. They'll give their daughters to them. And then we made a deal to give our firstborn son to them, so we can have the gift of shapeshift magic, getting to and from an assassin, and so we can be uh, ahead of war type of deal. You know, that type of stuff thinking. Then the Hopi, they made their own deals, which I'm gonna have them talk about it themselves instead of me.
Right,
But
right.
I, as myself, as a Navajo, we're very mixed individuals. Far as I know, I am Hopi, I am Mojave, and I am Ute. And we did a DNA test, found out that I was Spanish and Italian, and we're all identified as Navajo. So everywhere you go on Navajo land, they'll have a Zuni clan, a Ute clan, Hopi clan, Comanche clan. You know, everyone. We're all Heinz 51, but we're all under Navajo identified.
Got it. Well, it's interesting because what is the reason for this? A lot of times when I'm with somebody who is Native American and we go hiking and things like that, like Superstition Mountain is one of those places, and that's why I asked you about that. They won't go there with me. They won't hike through there. There's a place called Cliff Palace up in Four Corners that I want to go visit. I can't find anyone who is Navajo that will go with me. They won't go.
I'll go.
No?
I'll go. I'll take my.
What is their reasoning though? They won't go. They say that they won't wake up the ghosts.
Mainly is lizard man. 7 feet tall, 9 feet tall, 12 feet tall. They're different heights, and they can cloak themselves. And when they do, they'll reveal themselves there and tell that person in Navajo or in wherever tribe language they're at, will tell them not one rock, not one speck of dirt, grain of dirt leaves this mountain. Because if you do, I'm coming for you. No one's gonna find you. And they would take their cloak off and they would see a scale of a lizard, giant lizard person, and they don't want to say anything. So that's reason why the lizard man is there. Same thing with the Superstition Mountains. There's a cave, there's a base inside of there with the lizard beings. Shoi Husky, that's what we call them, lizard man.
Lizard.
And yeah, they're taller than the cedar trees, 16 feet tall, and they'll be running across the road, look like a giant dinosaur, running like, whoa, did I just see a dinosaur? So, a lot of us see them on the reservation, and it's not a pretty sight. It's not pretty.
Was part of the creation story for you guys, does that come out of Hollow Earth?
No. No, it's just to emerge from the last cataclysm from the previous world. We emerged from out of there. We took refuge inside because at one point in time, the Earth was uninhabitable. There's a lot of ice. There was water. Different worlds got destroyed by fire. Some worlds got destroyed different ways, and some worlds had to end. And the last world ended. We're here, and this world's going to be ready to end soon by fire.
So then what happens? Will it be reborn?
Yeah, another one's being made right now. So in Minot Valley, if you ever do research and look up all those rock formations, and most of those rocks have water inside. That has spring that comes out from the bottom and it retains water. And the story goes, there's actually for real, there's water inside. And the story goes that when the creator, the holy people, brought us from the last world onto this one, because the last world was so bad, he brought us into this one, and he grabbed dirt. He grabbed a lot of dirt, he put it together, and then he placed it on the land here. He grabbed more dirt and placed it there. And he told us all these dirt right here are these mounds here, these rocks here are filled with water here. They're my promise to you. And we have one rock called Promise Rock. And he said, this is my promise to you guys, that I brought you here to this new world. You're not gonna starve. You're not gonna be thirsty. You're always gonna have water. This is my promise to you. I didn't bring you here just to die. And he said that when the water runs out, is when I'll be back, and this whole world I'm gonna destroy.
Wow. So we are just about at the end of the hour. I can't believe how fast this hour went. It's just gone, just like that. I want to
try to keep everything.
It's like you can't get it all out. We need like 2 hours to talk about everything. I have so many more questions for you, but we can't tonight. I'll have to have you back on. Where can guests find you, first of all, and when does your show air? Don't Whistle at Night.
We're Sunday nights at 7 p.m., 8 Central Standard Time. Sundays. You can find me on Facebook. Look up the group Don't Whistle at Night podcast. Same thing with YouTube. Trying to get over 1,000 subscribers. Don't Whistle at Night podcast, and TikTok as well. Same thing. Don't Whistle at Night podcast. If you guys want to get a hold of me on TikTok, Mondays, I have an open line for everyone to come and tell me a story and possible podcast appearance. So, yeah.
Well, Dawn, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show.
Thank you.
You've been listening to The Gateway, broadcast from the edge of the Mojave where the strange slips through the cracks. Live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM, New Orleans. My guest tonight was Don Yazzie with Don't Whistle at Night. And boy, is he a great guest, isn't he? I'm going to have him back on for sure. My guest next week is Donna Copas. You don't want to miss that. And we're going to discuss some more creature phenomena with Bigfoot. So don't miss that. Thank you all for listening. And until next time.